So I think we all agree that the Nintendo 64 was a pretty awesome console. The games it brought to the table are still loved today. And we've got proof of that in my home. I have a son who was 5 years old playing Super Mario 64 and killing it, man. It was so cool, too, to see a little boy with a retro controller in his hand playing a game that was built in the mid to late 90s and doing well in spite of how hard it is. A testament to the legacy that Nintendo's left. So, when we decided we were going to start this YouTube channel, the Switch is set up in the living room and the editing is done in the game room. So, we needed another dock. Because Mama was playing Stardew Valley in the living room every stinking day. And so we couldn't take the dock from her. It just wasn't fair. And so, did a little bit of research, decided on the Retron S64 console dock for the Switch. Let's see how it does. It's a nice looking box. It's small. Hyperkin usually does this with the boxes, man. They just go above and beyond with the packaging. See what it says on the back. It says this dock for Switch includes a C-type port, 3 USB ports for Switch compatible accessories, an HD port. You can toggle between TV mode and continue playing in charging mode. Type-C power cable, HD cable, and power source are not included. But it requires a 12-volt 1-amp power supply, which is basically that Switch power supply. Let's see, it looks like it says on the bottom here, it says limited lifetime warranty. I'd like to see that. Yeah. Okay. So, let's see what's inside. Alright, let's crack this dude open. See what she's got. Looks like a molded piece of plastic with some instructions. We don't need those. Just throw those away, right? You know what this reminds me of? Man, this reminds me of opening the video games, the cartridge-based games. I wonder if they did that on purpose, because they usually have this little insert. Now, I remember it was cardboard, and this is plastic. There's a difference there, but it was wrapped in the neoprene sleeve, and you know, it's nice. It's a nice touch. Man, this thing is beautiful, though. It was modeled after one of those Nintendo 64 color variations, and we got the teal, and man, it is a nice looking color. Looks pretty much like we expected it to, except it's really, really small. You can see those ports in the back, which we've got HDMI port, a USB, and that Type-C. And then on the front, there's a couple of USB ports. Yeah, good looking piece of equipment there. Okay, so it's finally time to set this thing up and give it a try. While I do this, I want to talk about some rumors that I heard while talking to people about an aftermarket dock for the Switch. And what I heard from more than one person in my community was that a non-Nintendo brand dock will damage your Switch due to power regulation issues. And one of the guys that told me about this had this very dock for sale in his store. And I was like, if this dock is going to mess up my Switch, why are you selling it? So I feel like I needed to look into it, because I hear stories like this all the time. So I did some research, and what I found was nothing about the Switch being messed up due to power regulation issues, but being messed up through the design, the form of these aftermarket docks. And now the problem is in that Type-C port. When you put your Nintendo Switch in the Nintendo brand dock, it just sits in there and it's a gentle process and it connects and it works just fine. One thing I find with this dock is that I kind of have to force it down onto the dock in order to make a good connection, and I found this information online that kind of explains what happened and gives a repair if you wanted to attempt to repair And so, kind of a buyer beware thing, I suppose, that if you go after one of these switches, and you need to be pretty careful with it, because if you push down too hard on the switch, then you could damage that port. I really appreciate you watching this video. If you've hung out until now, you might as well hit the subscribe button. This is actually the first video that I've ever shot as a review that took more than just a few minutes of my time. So we're relatively new to this YouTube content creating thing. Like I said, I really appreciate hanging with me.
May I?
Have a really good rest of your day.
Victory shall be mine.
Letting the hunt begin. I am ready.
I will not be defeated.